Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you. And today we're going to be taking a look at some Cablemod DIY extensions, power supply extensions. Now what I need to reiterate with is they are extensions, so they go on the ends of your original power supply cable so that they will fit any power supply, because the end bit which goes into your computer, they're all standard. These do not plug into fully modular bases. So for argument's sake, they have to go on the end of your standard cables. They cannot be plugged in directly to replace the cables in your power supply. Doesn't work like that. It won't work like that. These are just to go on the end of your original cables. Hopefully, for the stupid ones out there, we have covered that in enough detail that they're not going to end up asking it in the comments as normal. So I said DIY, and we have lots of cables here, including connectors, but they're not put together. And that's because essentially what Cablemod have done is they've come out with a system where you can build your own extensions. Now you may be thinking to yourself, why would I want to do that? I'll just get somebody else to do it for me. Well, the point with the fact that you can build your own is you can then design your own colour combinations. So you can have them whatever colour combination that you want. You could have, if you were completely retarded and colourblind, you could have yellow, purple and orange together. Or if you were really stylish and clever and brainy and all that kind of stuff, you could have red, black, grey and white, for example. It's completely up to you. Yes, I am just trying to have a bit of a joke. Now the colours that we have, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, we've got 11. Didn't do my OCD very well with that one. Where was the 12th one? Anyway, so we've got these colour combinations. Not colour combinations, colour options. So we have, to start off, a light green. Do they call it light green? Yeah, they do call it light green. Personally, when I see the light green, it makes me think of something camo-ified. Definitely a good colour match for the likes of the Sabertooth board from Asus or something like that. You know, the greeny bit on the Sabertooth, or the goldy greeny bit, you know the one. This is a perfect match for that. Then we have what I'm going to call NVIDIA green, but they just call it green. NVIDIA green speaks for itself. Would also be a really good colour match, for example, the Gigabyte sniper boards, or they do have the new green board coming, the game. Then we've got black, there's a yellow which screams out to me MSI overclock or MSI lightning. Then, as we did say, we've got the red, which every motherboard manufacturer and their dad have got red boards now, so we won't go into where that could fit in nicely. When we get to the orange, think about the Gigabyte overclock boards. Could look rather lush with something like that. I also think, because it's quite a, I want to say a burnt orange really, it could actually look quite good with a gold as well. People out there may be thinking I'm completely brain dead, but if you got to see it in the flesh, you'd know what I mean. Grey, I think, is a lovely colour to go with any of the other colours as a breakup choice really. With the white and the black, I think the grey with another accent colour could work really, really well. We have a light blue. It's nice to see a light blue. I would say that's Intel blue personally. It's also nice to see not just the single blue, which is this colour. This is the type of blue that we're used to with everything else. There's strangely a purple. We don't get to see purple very often. Corsair did some purple fans recently, and I know purple is quite, it's got a little niche following out there, but again, it could make a nice accent colour. Then we have the white on the end. Now, what you do get is you can buy the fittings for the extensions that you want to make. So we've got a 24-pin power there, and then this one is the 8-pin EPS. The 8-pin EPS is your 8-pin ATX or CPU power cable that goes right up in the top left-hand corner of your board. The 8-pin EPS cannot be used for your 8-pin PCI Express, and don't get the two mixed up. We then do have a 4-pin ATX up for the top left-hand corner of your board as well. Some boards need a 4-pin up there as well, or at least you've got a 4-pin up there should you want to use it as well. But I think for the most part, people are just going to end up buying that 8-pin one. And I'm going to keep those separately, because then we bring in the 6 and the 8 pin PCI Express connectors. And these are obviously for your graphics cards predominantly, but there are a lot of other products out there now. You can get some external, you can get some sound cards which need a 6 pin connector on it. There are a couple of other things as well that might require a 6 pin, but there aren't any Molexes or SATA cables, just because of when you see how we fit these together in a second, because I have done a little guide. The way that they fit together is a little bit more complex than those, and those ones keep things simple. We've got all of the colours, but they also come in different lengths. Now the lengths that I've got to show you here on the table are the 60cm ones, but they also do, and I've got just the packets here just to show you, they do a 40cm and a 20cm as well. Each of the packets come with 4 cables inside. So you're obviously going to have to do the maths, but also what I can show you is when I do the guide, I'll show you how to kind of mock up designs as well. They're not massively expensive. For 4 of the 20cm, that's $2.99. This is all prices from overclockers. The 40cm is $3.59. If you were to buy the 60cm, which is the much longer one, obviously, these would be $4.25, and that's for 4 individual cables. The 24 pin is connector is £2, for example, and the 6 pin PCI Express is £1.40. So they are very good prices, but obviously you have to add a lot of cables up. If you wanted to have make a 24 pin, you're going to need to decide on your length, and then you're going to need 6 packs. Not 6 packs, Tom, you eat it. You're going to need 3 packs. No, you are going to need 6 packs. People are shouting at me. Yes, you're going to need 6 packs. My maths isn't doing very well today. I cannot brain today. I has the dumb. Anyway, so yeah, you would need 6 packs. You need to take that into consideration. One thing I would say as well is the only place on your PC I can think really that you might need extra or the longer ones would be your PCI Express. Maybe try the shorter ones for your 24 pins. The reason why I say that is because if you try the slightly shorter ones, you're going to have less cable around the back of your case to hide, because obviously you need to hide the original power supply cables and then have these on the end. It all depends whether you want big loops in your PC or not. I'm still of the thought that less is more. But, so we have our lengths, we have our connectors, we have all of our colours. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration on how you can mock up your designs and how to link them all together in a safe and orderly fashion, because yeah, order is the order of the day today. So I'm going to give you a demonstration of how to do the cables yourself. Now, I'll be frank, I'll be honest, this is the first time I've done it. I prefer to do it this way because generally when we do it live like this, you can learn from any mistakes that I might pick out, and it's just a nice organic way for us to go through it together. So I'm going to make a 24 pin. I've got the 24 pin cable here. I'm just going to open it up. Now, the most critical thing that you need to know when you start doing these yourself is I grab my remote. So I'm just going to zoom you in. Here we go. And it's that little white dot. And as long as you keep that little white dot in your thoughts, whatever, you'll be totally fine. And it's because they've made things very, very simple with the cables. I do need to zoom you out a little bit more again now. They've made things really simple with the cables. So you've got the white dot that you can see there, and on the cables you can see you've got a white end and a black end. That's really all you really need to keep in mind. There are 2 ways that you can go about joining the cables, because you take these little white and black ends off, and that's the ends for your extension. And there are 2 ways that you can go about attaching the cables, which is what I'm going to show you here now, as long as I can keep my hands in view of the camera. But what we do have to do is before we start attaching the ends, is you need to decide your layout that you're going to have with your cables, and this is the way I would go about doing it. I'm just going to unbox all of these. I'm not going to do it with you on the camera, and then I'll come back just that I can slip them in and we can work out how we can make our design. Okay, so we've got 2 ways of doing the white and the black end, and obviously you can take them apart, but I'm just going to show you the two ways without actually clipping them in, because what I've done is I've got all of my cables all out of the packaging already, and I've got all of the black ends at one end, and then I've got all of the white ends at the other end. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the white ends till last, because with the white ends last, I know that that's where I need to be doing the white connector last. So just for my own peace of mind, we're going to do that. So there are two ways that you can do it. So you've obviously got the black and the white end on the cable. So essentially what you can do, and I'm not taking the black end off, but you do need to, because that does come off to expose the connector. But I'm just going to leave it on because this is going to help us mock up, and that's one of the things that you're going to need to do for your design. So essentially the two ways of doing it are, you can put the black end in one end, and then you can wrap around and do the identical side on the other side. So it's the bottom and the bottom, just a straight loop round. If we were then to do the upper one as well, we would just push the upper one in. Obviously I'm pushing trying to push the sheath in as well, but this is just so we can mock it up. And then we push that one in and it would go round to the other side. So that is one way of doing it. I've obviously kept the connectors on, but the other way of doing it is you can literally just have them apart like that and go straight top to top and then straight bottom to bottom. And the easiest way to see about it with that way, when you look at them, is you've got the tabs on the top. So as long as you make sure those tabs on the top are on the top on either side of your desk, you can just run them like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it just to confuse matters. So I'm going to pull these out and we're going to set up our design. And this is the bit that I think is the most crucial thing. It's also the reason why I've told you to leave the connectors on for now. And by the connectors, I mean the little cable sheath things. Now these black sheaths on the end and the white, when you go for the final mock-up, you do have to pull them off completely. That's not heat shrink or anything like that you have to pull back. They have to get pulled off completely. I'm actually going to zoom you out just a little bit more so that we can see a little bit more of what's going on the desk. So we've got the all of the black ends on one end, we've got all of the white ends on the other end. So we're going to concentrate on just mocking up the black end on the cable connector. Now I've already got a rough idea what I want to do for mine anyway. So I'm just going to mock these up, and a little trick with the 24 pin, what I would think about is 2 banks of 6. So if you're going to have a matched design on the other side, you know you need to work in multiples of 6. You can do it in 4s as well if you want, or 3s. It's basically divisible with 24. So as long as you can do that, you're going to be okay. So I've got a black on the outside. Now just remember, we are just mocking this up, so I've not taken the connectors off yet, but I'm going to go black, red. Actually, I'm going to do 2 red. That's what I'm going to do, red, and then I'm going to do 2 white. And like I said, I'm just mocking these up ever so quickly. So black, red, red, white, white, and then I'm going to go grey, grey. So it's a very simple design. And then I'm going to go back again, and I'm going to, if you have a look, the way that I've got that mocked up there now. So I've got black, red, red, white, white. So then I'm going to do it in reverse again. So then I'm going to stick another 2 white in. Another 2 red. And then finish off with the black. So now the reason for us laying these out like this was just so that we could get an eyeball for our colours. Because once you've got them connected in, you're going to need proper tools to be able to get them back out again. Now they're easily available online, but by mocking these out, it does mean that we don't have to fret and worry, and we've got I'm happy with that design now. So what we can now do, I'll move these out the way, what we can now do is one by one we can take the black end off, give it a bit of pull, it exposes the fitting, we can push that in, there we go, one in. Then we take the next one out, expose the fitting, and the one thing I can say is they've got a little point on them, and I would put the point at the bottom because that seems to be the way that it goes in. If it doesn't click in place, then you know you've not got it in the right way round. Once they've clicked, they latch as well, and you can give them a little tug and you can feel that they're all the way in. So I'm just going to race through and do the rest of these really quickly now. So that's all of our cables now completely clicked into place. They're all in there, all lovely, and we've got all the white ones at the other end. Now the way I'm going to do my white one was the opposite way round, so we're going to do that. And the way I would suggest that you go about doing these is you do the top of one and then you flip them over and expose the other side. So I'm just going to whiz these through quickly for you now, but one thing that you do have to remember is to get them in the right order, which is why I've laid them out side by side, so that you know with my design it's black, red, red, white, white, grey, grey, white, white, red, red, black. So you can go through and you can copy the design. So make sure, and this is the critical thing, make sure that the connector on the left or on the black exactly matches the top connector, which is the way round we're doing it on the white. One thing I will say midway through is if you get the white sheath break on you because it's snagged on the connector, is just persevere with it and make sure you pull it off. It's not heat shrink, it all does have to come off. If you do get properly frustrated with it though, if you're careful with a scalpel or something, you can cut it off as well. Or if you're like me, you end up tearing it. Okay, so skip forward a bit and we have the finished article. Now you may be thinking to yourself, this does look all a bit kind of like tangled and messy, and the reason for that being is the connectors only fit in one way. And sadly, during the production of these, the cables on one end don't necessarily match the cables on another. If you were to imagine, for argument's sake, there being a square and that is your cable, and the connection for one of the cables is on the top, but on the next cable it might be on the side. When you fit the cable through, it kind of twists a bit, and that is exactly what's happened here. Now when I was doing these, I was trying to twist it round and fit it in for argument's sake 90 degrees round, but the connections only fit in one way. So the problem with that being is you end up getting cables that look like this. Now I know Cablemod are going to have their own cable combs to keep everything in place, which would make things a lot tidier, but it's never going to be an absolute cure for the problem. I'm just going to zoom you in, there we go. So you can see I've done mine here. So we've got the black, red, red, white, white, grey, grey, white, white, red, and then black at the end. It's all really nice and simple. And it doesn't look too bad on the ends, but as soon as you get round into the bend and stuff, it does start to look a little bit messy. So if I was to zoom you out again, if I was to zoom, I'm just gonna, it's quite difficult for me to show you because I obviously need to keep hold of both. Right, so, and then if we were to turn it over, it's just, they are good and it's brilliant for the customizing, but it's definitely something we need to discuss more in the conclusion. Okay then peeps, so on to the conclusion. So with the extensions, the best thing that I can say with these, and it's to wrap them up really quickly, is I personally think these are going to be great for people where the original Cablemod cable series, that your power supply isn't supported. They've got a whole range of kits available out there for fully modular power supplies, which aren't extensions, they're direct replacement cable kits, which means you can actually swap them right at the base of your power supply. This is also pretty great really for a fully modular power supply, because it means that you've not just got the view of the cables around your motherboard, you have them right at the bottom with your power supply as well. Now, those cable kits are available out there. There are a range of power supplies. You've got EVGA, Seasonic, Be Quiet's just been introduced, and you've also got Corsair. So if you have a look on their website, you can see the kits that they have available. They also come in a massive range of colours as well. Not just single colours, they do like orange and black, red and black, blue and white, all that type of stuff. So you can go and have a look and see the options that you've got available to you with those. These cable kits are brilliant if you do want to DIY some extensions. Like I said, you want to have the ends of your power supply cables customised. Now, I have to stress, you can't plug these, and there is no way that you can plug these into a power supply directly. They have to go on the ends of your cables. That's one of the points where they slightly fall down, and it's one of the reasons I've never personally been too keen on extensions, is because I'm a bit of a tidy freak, and it means that all you're doing is you're extending your power supply cables. So when you make these, this is one of the reasons why I said to you, try and use the shorter cables if you can. Is the shorter the cables are, the less of your other power supply cable you're going to have to hide, and it will make things slightly easier for you in the long run. Now, yes, obviously the fact that you can customize these and choose any color combination available is amazing. It hands the choice back to the end user, and in my personal opinion, these, as far as extensions go, completely trounce any other brand on the market available as a buy to. And I mean like a big brand, not a custom made set. I mean, for argument's sake, like anything else that might have a paracord based extension set, because not only do you get to choose your own colours, you can also choose your own lengths. So those other big brand cable kits that are available out there, I wouldn't even give those a second look anymore. Just sweep those off to the side, and these are the ones for those of you out there that want to get your hands dirty and want your rig to be unique. Why go for all blue, for argument's sake, with a set 60mm length, when you can get a set of these and you can mix up your white with your grey or your black or any other colours that you might want. So the customization about it is brilliant. The fact that you can choose your length is brilliant. The only slight thing that I wasn't 100% happy about was when you did make the kits up themselves. Like I said, if you imagine your wire as a square, you needed the connectors to match perfectly at either end, otherwise they end up twisted. I do know that Cablemod do have their own version of cable combs that are going to be coming out that you'll be able to purchase for these, which will help, but it's not going to solve the problem entirely. I do need to kind of keep the balance though, because I'm not trying to bash on them, because once you have got them aligned, you only really need one end to be tidy anyway, because the other end is going to be hidden behind your motherboard. But it's still something that when I made it up, it wasn't as tidy, and for me, considering the time that you spent doing it, it could have looked so much better just if those connectors were matched. Or, you can't do this, but if you could rotate the connector in the actual your extension clips. You can't rotate those because that's just the way these are designed, and it's just a normal thing. But it would probably be a massive headache for the actual not the engineering team, but the production line that make these cables that exactly match either end. So it's just a little bit of a shame they do end up slightly twisted, but this is going to be the difference between whether you've got OCD like me or not, really. And the only real way around it, if that side of things does your head in, is making a complete set yourself. And I think if you were going to make a complete set yourself, you wouldn't have been looking at extensions in the first place. So it's a good little weekend project. If you're going to do it, you do have to take your time and make sure, like I said, start on one edge first, match the other side, flip it over and do the same again. As long as you make sure that you get them in the right order, don't mix them up, do everything methodically, you're not going to be running any risk or anything like that. But one of the other things I do need to say is if you do get them in the wrong order, you got them in the wrong order, so please don't go trying to say that your power supply killed itself or it's Cablemod's fault. You know, it's something that you kind of have to take on the chin. I hate it when people try and blame other people when stuff gets killed. But anyway, so you can make them look really nice, and it obviously does give you the chance to customize your rig yourself in another way. Another thing I might say is that when you order your cables, maybe order a few extra. If you do get them wrong, you are going to need a power supply tool to get the connectors out. If you just tug them, then the cable is then completely broke. I've done a tug test myself. When it comes out, the connector on the end is holding on to the paracord, and once it's come out, it's ruined. So you then just throw that cable away, get the connection out and start again. And like I said, they're not massively expensive, so if you get yourself a few extras, then you'll be better off. Okay then peeps, so I've given you all the sizes, I've given you all the colour options, I've given you the lengths, which is the sizes again, and I've given you all the connectors. I've tried to give you some advice on how to methodically go through building them, and I've also tried to give you some little ideas on how you could possibly come up with some nice colour options and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's all down to you now to go away, make your purchases and get creative. If you do get creative, I would love to see the designs that you come up with on the OC3D forums, not just the cables, but you actually using them in your rig as well. So if you do join the OC3D forums, you can go to the project log section. One of the things I will say though is new members, when you do post images and stuff, for the first 5 or 6 times that you post on the forums, it will just go up for a moderator for approval, and that's just to make sure that you're not a bot or a spammer or someone like Sean that's just constantly posting lady pics. So we've got all these options out there for you now. Don't forget what I said, if you have a power supply that is supported by the normal complete replacement kits, please do go with those over these unless you do need an extension or your power supply isn't supported. I feel like I'm going round and round in circles now because I've said these same things so many times because I keep messing them up. So, for now at least, this is Tiny Tom Logan, feeling like a news reporter, out.